Huh.
Hey guys, welcome to the first actual dramatic reading I'm doing. It's been a while, like a week before I recorded a video. So, here we go. It's Five Nights at Freddy's, Foxy in Love. I've only ever gotten up to chapter 22 of this, so it's gonna be quite a journey. Let's start. It was 11:55, and all the employees grabbed their belongings and walked out of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. Some of the employees stopped to look at a sign on the door that read, "Soon to return, Freddy's Foxy the pirate and his companion Vixie sail the seven seas with two great pirates. R." There was a picture of Foxy, repaired and remodeled, standing at the front of a ship, with his hook held high in the air in triumph, and a vixen was behind him, smiling, and had her hand and hook behind her back. The employees stared at the sign for a good 3 minutes, shocked and a bit curious. Mr. Fazbear, the owner of the pizzeria, walked out and saw them staring at the sign. He smiled and went over to the small audience. "It's exciting, isn't it?" asked Mr. Fazbear. "Foxy is coming back along with another fox." He nudged and smiled at a male employee. "A female fox." Sounds great, sir," said a male employee nervously. Are you sure Foxy won't malfunction again?" "Don't worry, I've fixed all the things wrong with Foxy," said Mr. Fazbear. "We're still working on him, actually. The engineers over there offered to stay overnight, so they can finish Foxy up faster." As they were talking, Mike drove up the parking lot and parked in front of the pizza place. Mr. Fazbear saw him and went over to greet him. "Mikey boy, glad to see you," said Mr. Fazbear, shaking his hand. "Well, glad to see you again. You were fired a while back, and now look, you're back." "Glad to be back, sir," said Mike as he saw the sign on the door. "What's this, sir?" "Ah, we are bringing old Foxy back," said Mr. Fazbear. "And he has a new companion, who should be arriving any minute tonight. She is being transported here." Mr. Fazbear looked at his watch. "Yep, she should be here about any minute now." The employees looked at their watches or phones and saw that it was 12:01. They all suddenly rushed to their cars and drove off. Mr. Fazbear stayed there with Mike. Mike twiddled his thumbs, knowing that he would have to go into his office as the animatronics were wandering around. The animatronics haven't been as aggressive to him for the past couple of months. They still scare him to death, but now it's just for fun. They learned that Mike was a human after he being to show them proof. But Mike was still scared. Mr. Fazbear patted his back. "You should have no worry about being alone tonight," said Mr. Fazbear. "The engineers are staying here to fix Foxy, so you'll have company." Thank you, sir," said Mike as he walked to the pizza place. "Have a good night, sir." "You too, buddy," said Mr. Fazbear. "I'll wait here for Fixie, Foxy's partner." "All right, sir," said Mike. "See you around." And with that, Mike went into his office. But he stopped to look at the new Foxy. The animatronics were surrounding the engineers as they worked on Foxy. They all looked at Mike as he walked in and pointed to Foxy. Mike mouthed, "I know," and walked towards Pirate Cove. An engineer saw him and waved. "You the night guard here?" asked the engineer. "Yeah," said Mike. "That's me. How's you looking?" "Pretty good," said the engineer as he finished putting his jaw back in place. These are interesting animatronics. They just got off the stage and went over to watch. Yeah, they're special to this place, said Mike. They're very interesting animatronics. Freddy looked at Mike and gave him a friendly punch on the arm, making him move about 3 feet. Mike looked at him and gave him a blank stare. They both looked back at Foxy. The engineers put a chip in the back of Foxy's head and a glowing gold sphere in his chest. They closed his head and chest and they all watched as he powered back up. His eyes were a bright gold, and he sat up. He felt around his body. He didn't feel any tears or metal being shown. He smiled and stood up. On his 2 back legs, he stretched, Chica watching him dreamily as he stood up, tall and proud. She always liked him, but now she's in love. Bonnie saw her and couldn't help but smile. Freddy saw. Good job at spelling. Freddy saw her as well, and just rolled his eyes. Foxy looked and hung what was a metal claw no more. He actually had fur over his hand, and he looked at his hook and swung it around. The engineers moved away, dodging at the swings. Foxy stopped, and he turned around to see the most beautiful thing ever. He had a wide, dodging smile around his face. His whole ship was repainted and remodeled, and the walls were repainted and remodeled as well. He stood at the end of his ship and let up a triumphant "Arr!" Chica and Bonnie and Freddy smiled at him and gave a small applause. They were smiling at his childish attitude. Foxy noticed them and smiled. He jumped down and went over to see them and stood in front of the 3. They all stared at him. "Aye, what d'ye think, lads?" asked Foxy, happily spinning so they could see all of him. "How do I look? Not that bad, right?" They all laughed and went over to admire him. Chica was the first by Foxy's side. She got a closer look at him and smiled. She hugged him and laughed. "You look great, Foxy," shouted Chica. "I'm glad you're back." Bonnie joined and hugged and smiled. "You do look good, Foxy," said Bonnie, "but still not as good as me." Foxy just smiled and rolled his eyes. Freddy came over to help him up and put a hat on his head. It was a hat similar to Freddy's hat. "Now what do you think?" Freddy asked Bonnie. "Does he look better now?" No," said Bonnie, smiling. "A hat won't make you look any better, guys." Freddy stared at her and took off the hat and dusted it off. Okay, whatever you say," said Freddy, putting the hat back on his head. The engineers packed up all their tools and got ready to leave. It was 1:15. "Yup, they're interesting animatronics," said one of the engineers, being able to move and talk freely. "Yeah, they're cool guys," said Mike. "They can be scary at times, but still cool." "Hey guys, Vixie should be coming right now," said an engineer to his co-workers. "Let's go get her and set her up." Foxy and the others looked at them confused. They were about to ask, "Who is Vixie?" But Mike spoke up before they did. "Vixie is our new companion, Foxy," said Mike. "She's outside right now. She will be your new partner." Bonnie and Freddy looked at Foxy wide-eyed. "Another one of you," said Freddy. "That's great, Foxy. Now you have a crewmate." "Yeah, I know," said Foxy in a regular voice, instead of his pirate accent. "Another fox, or vixen. Oh my gosh, a vixen!" Foxy held his head in fear and excitement. Well, that's chapter 1. Hope you guys are enjoying it so far. I'm gonna move on to the next chapter. Chapter 2. Foxy in Love. What's a vixen? Asked Chica, a bit worried. A vixen is a female fox, said Foxy nervously. I've never really talked to a vixen before. What if I stutter? What if I trip? What if I begin freaking out? What if I say the wrong things? I don't know how to act around her. Oh man, this is gonna be scary. Foxy began pacing back and forth. A female fox, said Chica, a bit worried. Do you think you'll ever be with her? Foxy looked at her along with Bonnie and Freddie. Foxy thought for a minute. I don't know, said Foxy. I haven't seen her yet. Oh, I hope I don't mess it up. Bonnie noticed Chica was a bit sad that Foxy might be with another, and someone else beside her. Bonnie patted her shoulder and began to comfort her. Chica looked up at her and just gave her a little smile. Well, I hope you two get very nice to each other, said Freddie. I don't think about it too much. Just talk to her and you'll be yourself. Alright, thanks, Freddie, said Foxy, holding his hook nervously. I don't know how to start. Then they heard a big truck outside coming closer. They looked outside and saw an average-sized truck with a big rectangle connected to it. Foxy saw furry hands and a hook sticking out some holes in the truck. He saw a blue crystal eye staring outside. He saw them retreat when he looked at them. Foxy began tapping his foot on the ground as his stomach felt funny. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be with Foxy! She shouted in glee. I held a picture of him with my good hand. It showed him performing in front of the kids. I always admire his ways, and he is my inspiration to be a pirate. I smiled, then I felt a funny tingling in my stomach. I am so nervous. What if I mess it up? What if he doesn't like me? What if I do something embarrassing? What if I'm not pirate enough for him? What if he thinks I'm a loser? So many things are going in my head. I hope he likes me. I heard so much about him, how his performance are great, and how he was with the children. Also, the bite of 87. But that was a malfunction. It was an accident. I don't care about that. Oh, what am I going to say? I asked myself. I hope I don't mess it up. I'm just too damn excited and scared to meet him. I suddenly jerked back and felt the bottom of the carrier that was keeping me inside. I looked outside and saw Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria! I shouted in happiness. I stuck my fingers and hook outside the holes of the carrier. I peeked outside and saw we were driving to the front of the doors. I saw the 4 other animatronics that I would be working with. They were all looking at my direction, and I saw Foxy. I got into a trance and stared at him. Felt like the world was in slow motion. Then I saw he was looking directly at me. I gasped, and his in the darkness. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh! I said excitedly. He's staring right at me. I'm gonna be meeting him soon. Alright, Bixie, take a deep breath. You can do this. Don't freak out. Just be yourself. Here we go. The truck stopped, and stopped vibrating. I think it's turned off. The guy will be coming out soon to get me. I sat down in the box I was in, closed my eyes and waited. I heard humans coming closer. I began to panic again. I hope I can impress him. I heard the door open and a soft hand lift me up. 2 humans lifted me and carried me inside in a little bed. I looked at the doors as they opened. We entered the pizzeria. I saw 4 animatronics. and a human staring at me. Oh my gosh, I'm in the pizzeria! I felt my body lifted up and put on sand? Huh? I'm in Pirate's Cove! Pirate's Cove! Foxy's home! I can't believe it. I felt human hands opening up my chest, which was a bit awkward since, well, I'm a female. We grow in that area. It put something inside me and gave me more energy. I opened my eyes, saw a tube light crystal color. I sit up and feel the sand. I try and pretend I don't know where I am. Where am I? I asked, and the next voice made me so excited. You're in Pirate's Cove, shouted Foxy as he walked in towards me. The engineers move out of his way and pack up their stuff to leave. He's coming closer. I turn to look at him. I feel a trance again. He was so handsome. I stare at him as he comes closer. Foxy stops dead in his tracks. I stare at Vixie. She's so beautiful. Vixie has a lighter color fur and pants than of Foxy's. More thinner than Foxy, and the feature of a female, and a bit similar than Foxy. What do I say? They both think. Foxy was first to say something. Hi, my name's Foxy, said Foxy nervously. This is my home. I sail the great seven seas alone and have survived the most harshest weathers. But I get too lonely and can only go so far by myself. So will you be my first mate? Foxy held out his good hand. Vixen blushed, so much that you could see it through the furry suit. She reached out for his hand and grabbed it. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, thought Vixie. I'm holding his hand. I can't believe I'm holding a hand of a vixen, thought Foxy. Foxy helped her up. She nearly fell. Foxy caught her and held her closer to him. She smiled and began blushing again. Sorry, said Vixen, embarrassed. I need to get used to this much energy in my body. They put something in me that I'm still getting used to. It feels funny. They did the same with me, said Foxy, still holding her. They did it the same to all of us. Chica began to move uncomfortably, seeing the two close together. Bonnie noticed and tried to think of something to say. I just lost the page number. Sorry, guys. Hey, I'm Bonnie, the cool and rockin' bunny, said Bonnie happily. You must be Vixie. That's me, said Vixie, still in Foxy's tight embrace. She hopes to stay like that. Who might you all be? My name is Freddy Fazbear, said Freddy, introducing himself and tipping his hat. It's an honor to meet you. You have a great partner, by the way. I think I might stop here for a bit, guys. I'll be back. Yeah, a great partner, said Chica a bit sadly. I'm Chica, by the way. A great baker and cook. It's a pleasure to meet you. Hello, Chica, said Vixie happily. How do you do, Freddy? What's up, Bonnie? It's so great to be here with the awesome band and the great Foxy the Pirate. She saw a human walking in the dark hallway labeled the West Hallway. She was curious about who he was. Who's that? Asked Vixie, pointing at Mike. He heard what she said and looked back at them. That's Mike Schmidt, said Freddy. He's the night guard here. We thought he was an endoskeleton at first, and tried to get him back in his suit. But we found out he's a human after he explained it to us. Hello, Mike Schmidt, shouted Vixie. Mike just stood there and waved. Hi. Then he went back to his security office and just relaxed, there playing a game on his phone. Vixie gently put one of her legs on the ground. Then she did the other. Then she slowly balanced. Foxy still helped her. Then Vixie was balanced. Foxy held her hand, just to be sure she wouldn't fall again. Vixie smiled at him, and he smiled back. Chica walked to the kitchen in sadness. Bonnie watched her leave and felt sad for her friend. Foxy saw her and called toward her. "Chica, where are you going, lad?" asked Foxy curiously. She looked back at him a little sad. "I'm going to cook something," said Chica. "You go show Vixie round the place." Foxy looked at her a bit disappointed. "All right, laddie," said Foxy. "I'll see ye in the morning." "I know, Foxy," said Chica. "Hopefully." Foxy didn't understand what she meant by hopefully. He just nodded his head. She walked into the kitchen, and Vixie began to walk around Pirate's Cove, looking at it in awe. Foxy smiled at it. "You like it?" asked Foxy. "Like it? I love it," said Vixie, looking at the ship and the painting on the wall. "This is amazing. You have such a beautiful home." "Thanks, Vixie," said Foxy happily. "This isn't just my home no more. This is your home too." Foxy smiled at Vixie, who was happy to live with him. She walked up to him and hugged him. Foxy was shocked and filled with joy. He hugged her back. "Thank you, Foxy," said Vixie, overjoyed. "I can't believe I get to live with the greatest pirate ever to sail the seas." "Aw, I'm not the greatest," said Foxy. "Although I like the way that sounds." Both Foxy and Vixie laughed and hugged each other. Then they went on Foxy's ship and talked to each other about pirate-related things. Chica watched them sadly and continued cooking. Well, how are you liking it so far, guys? That's the first 2 chapters, and pretty much the end of where I'm going to be recording so far. Yeah, it's a huge fanfiction. 26. Wait, let me check. Yeah, 26. So, it's a lot of chapters. We will get it all done, though. Yeah. Alright, I'll see you next time, I guess. Bye.
Huh.